Ladies and gentlemen, surprise, surprise. Group associated with Stephen Colbert arrested and charged with unlawful entry at, you guessed it, the Capitol by Daniel Chayton, Washington Examiner. This is all over now. So it'll be interesting how Democrats respond to this, seeing that criminal activity around that location has been the number one focus of Democrats and Liz Cheney and Kinzinger and others. A production team associated with Stephen Colbert's late-night comedy show was arrested on Capitol grounds Thursday night. Why this happened and why there's no media outrage, could you imagine if it was a Fox News team? But anyway, members of the group initially on location around the time of a hearing conducted by the committee were charged with unlawful entry and released after they were found in Longworth House office building, which was closed to the public at the time. There are other reports as well pertaining to this. House Judiciary GOP on the 50th anniversary of the Watergate break-in. Adam Schiff's cronies sneak in Stephen Colbert's staffer and provide unauthorized reconnaissance tours of Republican offices throughout the Capitol Hill. So the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Okay, so on Wednesday, June 15th and Thursday, June 16th. Oh, this is Triumph, the insult comic dog, was on site. Yeah, but these people got arrested, so they can try to make light of anything. They got arrested, and here's the CBS statement on the U.S. Capitol Police detaining a crew that was filming a segment for the Late Show. Oh, it's just a segment. Not a big deal. And then the statement from CBS is on Wednesday, June 15th and Thursday, June 16th, Triumph, the insult comic dog, was on site with a production team to record interviews for a comedy segment. The interviews, so then why were they arrested? The interviews at the Capitol were authorized and prearranged, but they were arrested. After leaving members' office, the production team stayed to film stand-ups and other comedy elements. Yeah, that's not exactly what some other publications are reporting. The building was closed to visitors, and these individuals were determined to be part of a group that had been directed by the USCP to leave the building earlier in the day. They were charged with unlawful entry. This is an active criminal investigation and may result in additional criminal charges after consultation with the U.S. Attorney. And there you go. Wow. And that was a statement given, an official statement. Wow. So, this is an active criminal investigation, may result in additional criminal charges. Something is fishy about this. It's not just, they were. And even if it was just, by the way, that used to be a great, comedy segment. Who knows? Maybe it's just only geared towards insulting Republicans now. The insult, what's the comic dog? That was actually pretty funny back in the day. But now Colbert is just an extension of Jimmy Kimmel, who's an extension of the Democratic Party. They're all just very angry, malicious, sad, aging, wonderful, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats. They want nothing more than just to insult one political side. That's it. And now this is during these trials, or this show trial that is trying to indict Trump or anyone around him for a day that I condemn 2 years ago. And now look. So you have, I'll read it again. On the 50th anniversary of Watergate, Democrat staffers from the offices of Adam Schiff and another Democrat got a film crew in the House office building and then went around the same building that Representative Loudermilk was accused of giving reconnaissance tours of, a claim that's been debunked by the police, Capitol Police. So the aide told the Washington Examiner. Last night, CBS employees who work for the Colbert Show were arrested by Capitol Police for unlawful entry, spent the night in jail. So, yeah, they were not credentialed to be walking around without an escort and were banging on doors of offices of Republicans like Kevin McCarthy, Jim Jordan, and Lauren Boebert. There you go. As they were filming a skit on the January hearings, a topic the left and media keep trying to use to distract American people from issues like inflation, crime, and the border. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel, where we talk about every segment, the inflation, negative GDP, food shortages, diesel prices going through the roof, which will grind transportation and commerce to a halt in this country. I should say commerce. And capitalism in this country and every country in large part runs on diesel fuel. When diesel gets to $7 or $8, ladies and gentlemen, it really won't matter how high the interest rates go to stop inflation. So the Fed can raise interest rates all it wants. If diesel is the fuel for ships, cargo ships, UPS trucks, trucking, the trucking industry, semi-trucks that you see transporting goods from farms to supermarkets, for example, the food that you buy, okay? And so diesel fuel is a big issue. And then oil and gas, obviously. Gas prices have doubled. Diesel prices have more than doubled since Mashed Potato Brains has been elected. This is a huge issue, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about this in the Stock Market Crash channel. So hit subscribe, and we talk about it on this channel. But hit subscribe also to the Bitcoin Crash, the 10,000 or lower channel. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that needs to be investigated. Could you imagine if, let's just say it wasn't Fox News. Let's say it was Newsmax. Let's say it was another conservative cable station. Could you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, they would tie it into the hearings, you would hear it from Liz Cheney. That's all they do is pontificate. When they're not preaching and condemning and pontificating, they're using Stephen Colbert to poke fun of Republicans and Jimmy Kimmel and try to mock and insult Republicans or Trump Republicans, okay, or Donald Trump. And what they do is, it's the opposite of the way Wikipedia, for example, describes scandals and controversies. When you read Wikipedia, if there's anything attributed to what a journalist says about Hunter or what a conservative publication says about Hunter or Joe or Hillary, it will be, well, it's just conservative circles have been fomenting this belief. When it's about Trump, it's the New York Times reported that he might have, or that unnamed sources say, and that, so the standard of suspicion is completely different for Trump, Republicans, and then for Democrats. It is a completely different ballgame. And you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where we're now getting into disingenuous and hypocritical activity. And you can see that they just don't care. Like, you could see how CBS doesn't care. CBS is like, oh yeah, whatever. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's like they don't see a summer. They cannot see a summer of $1 to $2 billion in property damage, for example. They call that whataboutism. It's like, well, it's not your property. If it was the property of the people who are ignoring the $1 to $2 billion in property damage, that summer, 19 lives lost. It's not your life lost. And so you had chaos, mayhem, and now you have this, the hypocrisy. It's not called whataboutism. It's called hypocrisy. Say it slowly, wonderful, morally superior, liberal Democrat, who can get away with pretty much everything. Except now the FBI is investigating a number of left-leaning organizations. So you revered Strzok and McCabe and Clapper, and they're doing their job now. They have to do their job. So you can't go after Supreme Court justices, sorry. And you can't do those things. It's like, you think that you have all the institutions, but the FBI is still doing its job. And they're going after Republicans more than Democrats, but now they're forced to investigate Democratic-leaning organizations, especially the ones trying to intimidate Supreme Court justices. But we'll see. Like, the interesting thing is, like, they just roll their eyes. Oh, you know what? Stephen Colbert was not a big deal. Spent a night in jail, no problem. Banging on office doors. It's like they act as if they act as if they're ordained by God to just torment one political side, when in reality, it's like your political side is more corrupt, gets away with more violence and more criminal activity, and is presiding over an economic catastrophe. Go to the Stock Market Crash channel, hit subscribe to that one, and to that channel, and to the Bitcoin Crash channel. I have segments right now on both of those channels. This link will be below in the pinned comment, in the description. Thank you so very, very much. Spent a night in jail, arrested. This is the Colbert team. Give me your thoughts below.